Seven Samurai is a movie created in 1954 by director Akira Kurosawa, and it follows Seven Samurai. What a wild time. This movie has heavily inspired so many amazing movies and has created scenes, plots, and character aspects that we still use to this very day. Now, while there are so many aspects of this film that are absolutely extraordinary, I'm gonna go into my top two, which is soundtrack, as I usually do in my film projects. I am so sorry, and character development. So, without further ado, my name is Zephaniah Hebert, and this is my film project. Woo! To start off the video, I'm gonna go with, in my personal opinion, one of the leading and most impressive aspects of the film, which is character development. Each and every character on screen has so much development, even the farmers. For example, let's take a look at one of the farmers, Rikichi. At the beginning of the film, Rikichi is quite whiny, and it seems as if his existence was purely to find the samurai to move the plot of the film. Later on, though, we find out how genuinely desperate he is and his whole motivation for everything, which is the kidnapping of his wife. At that moment, we see a huge aspect of this character. We see his backstory and start to realize that there's actually more to this character. It only gets better. I mean, not for him, because yeah. Anyways, it only gets better from there. A group finds a bandit camp, sets on fire, victory, yada yada yada, and then suddenly Rikichi spots a familiar face exiting from the fire. His wife. Now, when village women are kidnapped by bandits, they do really awful things. And when Rikichi's wife spots him, she realizes what has happened to her and basically throws herself back into the barn fire, killing her. This is the start of what I like to call Rikichi's revenge arc. His character changes completely, and man becomes a killing machine. Man went from whiny character to the Terminator in really quick, one scene. It was crazy. Another good example of insane character development is Kokichio. When we first meet Kokichio, he's very childish and quite annoying. He has an attitude that, if it wasn't put in a comedic way in film, in reality, we would probably want to Will Smith him, and he just does not seem like a fun time. Later on in the film, we see his reaction to certain scenarios and how he interacts with people, and we can kind of see a small shift in his character. He shows actual remorse and genuine feelings, and actually proves to have this real genuine samurai attitude to him. And this continues on up until his death, which is stupid and should have never happened because he was the best character and Akira Kurosawa just wanted to start beef with me. Each and every single character in the film has something unique about them, and they all have some sort of development, whether it's big or small, and I think the future of film should take a look at these characters and implement it into their film, because what Kurosawa did in this film was absolutely great. It was wonderful. Composer Fumio Hayasaka does a great job at creating these perfect pieces for the proper moment or character. The beginning of the film starts off with this pretty eerie piece that is led by this ominous drumming. This sets us up for a very first scene where we are greeted with the bandits stalking the village. The mood and energy of this song sets us into an uneasy, intense feeling before we are even greeted with the village's threats. The next piece is also very tense, and it's when the village finds the situation so difficult that they head over to the village's elder. It starts off with this very low humming, giving it a haunting effect. Then suddenly, the low brass instruments kick in unexpectedly, giving this feeling of unpredictability, which puts the viewer on edge. It's very ominous and a kind of chilling piece. It once again puts us in the exact mood of the villagers and allows the viewer to connect with them. We are greeted with this humming once again in the piece Rikichi's Trouble. This humming is a common motif in the villagers' music when something threatening or tragic has happened, so we can maybe see this humming as a symbol. We come to learn that the village has been invaded by these bandits previously, and those invasions resulted in deaths and abductions of many individuals, like Rikichi's wife. This humming that we hear could be the trauma or memories of the previous invasion, or, on a less symbolic level, the ghosts of those that were lost prior. There is one change in this piece that differentiates it from the other humming pieces. The humming changes from low, gravelly men's voice to a cello and woman singing. This female humming could also be the trauma or ghosts, and the reason why in this specific piece it shows up is because once again, Rikichi lost his wife. Now, while there are those ominous music, the rest of the soundtrack seems to be very triumphant with horns leading most of the pieces. This creates that really heroic aspect of the film. Even in Kikuchio's Mambo, it's more of an arrogant heroic, and this triumphant trumpets continue on, until we unlock a certain scene. Katsushiro, the youngest samurai, despite his determination to become as fierce and as heroic as the other samurai he stands beside, he is still very much a child. We can hear this in the pieces Katsushiro and Chino and Katsushiro Come Back. The piece Katsushiro and Chino starts off very whimsically and leaves us curious. It is unlike any other piece, and it carries this nostalgic and childish energy. The flute kicks in and it makes us more curious and tempted to explore, which is exactly what Katsushiro was doing in the film. Even when the notes drop in a suspenseful way, the bells still keep it whimsical and childlike. The horns return in this, but for the most part, it still has a very unique and fresh composition to it. Then, in Katsushiro Come Back, we are greeted with a very childlike tune. Almost sounds as if we're watching a Disney movie. Those two pieces perfectly encapture the fact that yes, Katsushiro is a samurai, and a very brave and determined one at that, but he is still a curious child. Fumio does an amazing job at connecting the audience to the characters through music, and I think his compositions are stunning and it makes the movie so much more aesthetically pleasing. Alright, so that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for listening and being patient. I really did enjoy this movie, and I think it's by far one of my favorite movies now. I think Akira Kurosawa and his team is absolutely extraordinary, and I will definitely watch more of his films in the future. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.